back to reality now, Joyce. Now tell me about those new GM C-body cars.
Well, John, you're going to need a hefty bank account to afford one of these babies.
Now these are going to be front-wheel drive replacements for their top-of-the-line sedans, right?
Yes, these are going to be the new front-wheel drive, and they're going to come out in the Oldsmobile 98 Regency, the Buick Electra, and the Cadillac Fleetwood and DeVille. Now, as you can see from these photos, they're going to be a lot more sleek than the current models. Now, you look at that long sloping hood and that high rear deck, and it gives this Olds 98 a sharper, more contemporary look. Now, besides being front-wheel drive, all the new C-bodies are downsized and just enough to improve fuel economy, but it's not going to hurt those roomy interiors. Now, GM has lopped 2 feet off the length of each model, plus about 800 pounds off the weight. But there's still lots of room in the front for a 6-footer. Now, the width isn't quite as generous, but you're still going to have room for 3 in the back, and that trunk is still more than generous. The Olds and the Buick Electra are going to have the transverse-mounted 3-liter V6. They'll also have a 3.8-liter V6 or a diesel option. The transmission is going to be a 4-speed automatic with an overdrive 4th. Now look for about 20 to 22 miles per gallon in the city and 35 miles per gallon on the highway. And that's pretty good for a big car. Now the diesel, it's naturally going to do a lot better, probably 42 on the highway. Now the new Electra, that's going to be the only one of the 3 that will probably displace the current rear drive model right away, as soon as it's introduced next spring. Cadillac and Olds are still going to be selling their rear drive versions for the entire 1984 model year, and that's even after the new models are on the road. Now, as for the Cadillac Fleetwood and the DeVille, you're going to see they're going to have a lot more chrome, and the Cadillac is going to be the only one to offer a 4.1-liter V8 powerhouse. This was the engine that was new last year and will probably be the last new V8 engine that will be designed in this country. And the price for all this front drive luxury? About 20 grand.
Well, they're not cheap, but then the current cars aren't either, and they are selling pretty well.
That's true. Now, you know, GM is taking a bit of a gamble with these because the word that we heard is that they had quite a few problems with production last year. We heard that they had some problems with the automatic transmission, and they had to take it back and go all through a very thorough quality check.
Getting it right the first time at those prices is a good idea. Okay, Joyce, well, thanks for the information, and we'll see you next week. And now, on to yet another new model. You see, GM designers aren't the only ones trying to make cars that are smaller outside yet bigger inside. That started happening after the 1973 Arab oil embargo. And somewhere during that reawakening, better car engineering took on a life of its own. Just good enough wasn't anymore, and designs began to be stretched to the limits of technology. And that meant higher prices too, of course, and as that happened, the public wanted more car per dollar. Well, the moving target of owner expectations has been rising ever since.